Now I'd like to show you how to create and look at the results for filtered reports in your studies. We already looked at the full report, and in any filtered report you're still going to get the three types of output that you saw for the full report, but just for a specific segment of your sample. So here's how we do it, and again we're going to be using results from our wireless provider study that you've already seen. We'll scroll down here. Notice that when you create a filtered report, it appears in the list of filtered reports that you've created, and the things you can do with it is you can process the data if the data have not been processed yet, or if you've already processed data you can download it, and when you download it you'll see that it will download into a zip file that appears in your taskbar, and then you can open that and then open the various types of output. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new filtered report, and you can see the dialog boxes that you have to work with in doing that. The first one is you're going to name your report. Now remember that anything you put in here is going to be actually shown in the output. So you want to choose kind of a short name that's very descriptive. I'm going to choose for this one, aware females greater than 35, which means greater than 35 years old. You may have noticed on our list we have aware females less than 35. We'll just create one for the other group of females that we have in our sample. The next dialog box deals with SOI filters. So you may not want to look at all the results of the SOIs in this filtered report. You may want to look at only some of them. The SOIs you have in your study, other than the validation primes, are listed here, so you can select ones. For this report, let's do Sprint, Verizon, and AT&T, and those will be the only SOIs that we will receive data for in this report. The next deals with the outcome questions. In our study, we only had one outcome question. It was amount pay, and I'm not going to choose to do any filtering on that variable, so I'll click out of the box, and that's not selected. But we do need to select some demographic variables, that is females greater than 35. So if you click in here, we're going to choose gender and age as the two demographic variables we want to filter on. And when you choose them, they show up in the big dialog box. When you click out of it, the dialog filtering shows for you for each of the variables. Here for gender, we want to do only females and don't include males. And when we get to age, we have some logical computations here. So here's how we choose the age being greater than 35. We want the age to be, and if you click here, you'll see different basic logical symbols. We want the mathematical symbol greater than to be there, and we have the value that we want it to be greater than right there. And we don't want to mess with anything else. So we have selected the age that we want, that is, the demographics we want, females greater than 35. So if we click out of that, or if you don't click out of that, it just stays showed up in your dialog box. So the last thing we want to do is we want to click only those who are aware of the SOIs. So if we click in here, we see awareness as one of the variables we can filter on. And when we click that, what we get, click that, it shows up, and we click off of it. Here's how we can filter awareness in our studies. You may want to filter awareness only for certain SOIs, but in our studies it's an all or none thing because people only see 3 of however many SOIs that you're showing. So it's impossible to select only ones that certain people are seeing because the sample size for anyone will likely be very small. So the way this works for our studies is that you either pick, are they aware of all the SOIs or are they unaware of all the SOIs? In this filtered report, we want aware of all SOIs, so we select that. So we've made all of our selections that we're going to make. Again, we've named it. We're only going to get results for 3 SOIs. We want females that are greater than 35, and we want them all to be aware of all of the SOIs. So we're going to save that now. And when we save that, it asks us if we're sure we want to save it. We say yes, then we say OK. And notice that it shows up in our list ready to be processed and then downloaded, as you'll see. So I'm going to do that now, but Notice that when we actually open the reports, it won't show up on our screen, so we'll have to move to the next video. Be ready for that. But let's process this report now. When we process it, you have to wait because it's actually parsing the data, and then it's going to run the model in a minute. And then when it's all done, it'll show up with the sample size that's in our study. It won't run if the sample size it deems as too small. So it's running the model now. We give it a few seconds, and it should show up shortly. It's creating the files now. We know that it's moving. And when it does show up, we see that there are 712 respondents in this report. And it's ready to be downloaded. And when we hit download, again, it's downloaded in our taskbar in a zip file. I'm going to click on this zip file, but we have to move to the next video to be able to open the reports, which I'll do as soon as I click this, and we'll move on to the next video.